And welcome to Charting the Life course to your good life, the three-part series. We are on week 3 of the three-part series. My name is Deborah Fiasco, and I work for the Family and Community Engagement Department here at Special School District. Our mission is to partner with students, families, and staff to support students' specialized academic, social, and emotional needs, and to promote self-determination, equitable opportunities, and authentic inclusion. This webinar is being recorded, and so your microphone and camera have been disabled. You can ask questions in the chat, and the moderator will give me the questions at the end of the presentation. Chat messages will only go to the host and not to another person watching the webinar. We can't guarantee confidentiality in webinars, so please don't share any identifiable or specific information about your family and or student. If you require additional assistance, please chat with the host. Closed caption has been activated, and a recording of this webinar will be uploaded within a week. So let's get started with some of the other upcoming events. This is the last in our three-part series of Charting the Life course. We do have an assistive technology webinar, our workshop that's coming up in December. We have our family cafes, which the dates are on the flyer, and you can find more information on our website about those. It gives parents and family members a chance to really sit and discuss really important topics with each other. We also have our hub huddles where we have outside agencies come in, we have community action come in, and the dates are on the flyer. And then we have the higher education consortium where families can come in and get really help on those issues. Again, we're talking about Charting the Life course. We've looked at the framework and the tools over the last 2 sessions. Charting the Life course does come to us from Missouri Family to Family, the University of Missouri, Kansas City Institute for Human Development. It was created to help individuals and families of all abilities and all ages explore life possibilities, share ideas, hopes, dreams, and even fears. It's supposed to really help us set higher expectations to navigate the future and advocate for a good life, and to problem solve and to plan. These are some of the concepts that we've talked about in Charting the Life course, and each one of these have specific meanings. We're going to talk about the one in the center this week, the integrated support star. These are the tools that we've gone through in this series. The bottom one, the trajectory, we did last week. The one that's next to the integrated or the star is the one-page profile. We did that the first week. That one-page profile is really a great way in one page to look at what are somebody's strengths, what is people like about them, what are their interests, what are they good at, and then what's important to them, their family, their friends, their culture, their traditions, and then how to best support them. Do they learn differently? Do they need a different kind of communication? What is needed for them to reach that good life or reach those goals? It really encourages meaningful conversations, and we use it with our students to really plan for the IEP and for other goals. And that goal is the ultimate goal of working towards a good life. This is a very simple trajectory where we put in the 2 boxes. We organize it into two ways. The vision for what I want and what is it that I don't want. And you see the lines that go to those 2 boxes. Those are what we need to do to get to that vision of what we want, and what we need to not do or stay away from or avoid so that we don't go to the negative experiences. On this very simple trajectory, you see the integrated support star. The integrated support star is what helps us get to those things, what helps us plan for what's on that trajectory. Helps us organize the next steps, either short-term goals or long-term goals. Here's the portfolio trajectory that's a little bit more complex. It looks at past life experiences, What has happened in my past that moves me in the direction of what I want? And what moving forward do I need to do to reach that goal? And then what in my past experience may have hindered or gotten in the way? And moving forward, what do I need to avoid? The trajectory can look like a lot of different things. And in the samples, we've had them just on sticky notes. These are just tools. They're absolutely not necessary. It's the framework, it's the conversations, it's exploring possibilities. That's really the important thing. On this, we look again at the life domains. We want to ensure that we've looked at everything with the student to plan for a good life. And that includes things like daily life and employment. What are you going to do during the day? Community living. What are the housing options? Are there modifications that are needed? Community access and transportation. Social and spirituality, friendships and relationships. What is your personal network and your faith-based community that you might be interested in? We want to look at healthy living. We want to look at wellness and medical and behavioral, about nutrition. We've got some examples about that later. Safety and security is always a concern for our families. We want to ensure that we're prepared for emergencies, that we know what to do legally about guardianships and some of those other things for well-being. And then citizenship and advocacy. We want to ensure with these tools that we're looking at the valued roles of the individual, help them make choices and set goals and have responsibilities. This is the reality of what is happens with people with intellectual disabilities nationally. Only about 25% receive state support services. So we know that that other 75% still wants a good life. We still want to reach those goals and support that individual. And that's why this framework looks at what is a good life for all. How do we take care of all that 100%? This is the other reality. We want to support the person or the student in the context of their family and in their community. But traditionally, we've wrapped students and individuals with supports and services that sometimes separate them. It doesn't put them in charge or their family in charge, and we're not looking at what maybe the family's culture is or desires. So that last circle shows us the integration of those supports where they're needed. It takes the person and the family in the context of their community and puts them in charge of where those services and supports are needed and integrates them into their life. So again, the trajectory with the support star, we use the things that we explore in the integrated support star to get to that vision of what we want and what we don't want. In the integrated support star, we want to look at these 5 areas. You'll notice the green down at the bottom, the green of the 25% that are supported with financial means through state services. Those are the eligibility specific supports. Those are the ones that you're eligible because of age or disability. Those are also the ones that we have the least amount of control over because rules can change. The top one, the personal strengths and assets, is where I always like to start. And we can pull those things off of the one-page profile. What are some of my strengths? What are some of the assets I bring to solving this problem or achieving this goal? The purple is the relationships. Who's in my life? We also want to look at the community resources. They're available to anyone. And lastly, technology. So here's an integrated support star, and you can see the graphic of the person and the family in the context of their community and how that integrates. So again, we look at personal strengths, your skills, knowledge, or life experiences, past life experiences, some things that you're good at or things that people admire about you. Relationships, your family, your friends, who's in your life that can help you achieve this goal. Community-based places such as businesses, parks and recreation, schools, faith-based communities, healthcare facilities that can assist in that goal. and technology. And we'll see some examples of this. Technology is not just high tech. There's many, many low tech ways that we can use to solve those problems. And then again, eligibility specific, those needs based because of age or geography, income level, or employment status. Here we go. Here's an example for Jeannie. So she really wanted to have natural friendships. She was looking for greater independence. Jeannie is a young woman in her mid-20s. She lives on her own. And so these were really important to her, that she maintain friendships, increase friendships, and that she maintain her independence. So sitting down with her, we looked at what were some of her personal strengths and assets. She's very mature and she has a great personality. She has her own home and she is active in her decision making. Then we looked at some of the relationships that she has. So she has a close-knit family and she's got some really close friends. She has other people who attend the same classes that she takes, and she's friendly with her neighbors. We looked at her community-based supports. She likes to do Zumba. She's very active and she goes to Aquafit. She takes art classes. The other thing she is really involved in is technology. So she has an iPad and she's on social media. All of these things supported her in increasing her friendship. When we sit down and we look at some of these things, it's like, oh yeah, I joined the museum club. I could make friends there because we have the same interests, or I could get on a different social media platform. You use these things to reach that goal. And lastly, Jeannie is supported financially through a state-funded service. And so she has some support staff that can help her with transportation and some budgeting. And she has a gym membership that she has from her health insurance that she's eligible for. Has nothing to do with her disability, just her health insurance, and that made her eligible. Next, we're looking at Alex. Alex is a 4-year-old. And so when we sat down and looked at Alex, he's really eager to learn. He is funny and friendly and really confident, and he loves to sing. His was increased independence. He didn't want to have a person with him all the time when he was at school because it felt like a barrier to having other children be his friends. We looked at his teachers and his doctors, Ruby and Al, who are friends of his. And I think the one surprising thing in this conversation were the Pizza Hut employees in his relationships. Alex goes to Pizza Hut every week with his dad, and they have become friendly with him. And it gives him an opportunity to order food on his own, and they're really patient with him. And that really gives him that feeling of independence. We look at his communication style within technology. He can communicate by a Zoom. He uses a timer or a clock to help keep himself on track, and a fidget really helps him. So you can see, even with a 4-year-old, we don't necessarily it doesn't have to be an iPad. It can be a fidget or a graphic organizer. We looked at his community. And he goes to camp. He takes swimming lessons. He's in a children's choir. I said he loves to sing. And then we looked at some of the eligibility-based supports. All of these helping him increase his independence. The Charting Life Course framework has a variety of different, what we call starter stars, where they have gone through and in those different areas, given us some examples that we can use. This one, community living support options. And it's gone through and given you ideas about where you can look when you're exploring these different 5 areas, about what you can look for. Here's one on supported decision making, where they went through and they talked about some of the legal stuff in the eligibility based. They talked about different technology that can be used for supported decision making that doesn't require guardianship, about the community places. All of these can help guide you when you're making decisions in some of these areas as a way to get you started on problem solving or setting that goal. Here's one that someone, Stuart did with his sister and a support person. Stuart is a 45-year-old man and he lives with his parents. His father just recently went into hospice care and his 90-year-old mother is getting frail. And Stuart they need to figure out what's going to happen when they are no longer able to help Stuart. So we looked at what's going on with Stuart. He knows how to use his own debit card. He's been at the same job for 15 years and is well liked by his boss and coworkers. He has a great sense of humor. He does have a bus pass, knows how to use it, and he's got a really outgoing personality. Stuart has a sister, Amy, and her children that would be there to support him. His boss, like we said, that was one of his strengths, was that he's very friendly and a good worker. So his boss is a support for him in the relationship. He has a neighbor and a really good friend, Brad. Then we looked at some of the technology that he could be using when he is living independently. He knows how to use his cell phone and the iPad. He's got an app that helps him with bus routes. There's a doorbell camera so that he can see who's at the door. A lot of these things that we look at in technology, we all use every day, but using them to increase someone's independence rather than having a paid support, having a person there with Stuart all the time doesn't increase his independence. So if he had to have somebody who was paid to be there to ensure his safety, it would not be his good life. He has a med dispenser reminder. A lot of us have those too, and a smart door with locks. Stuart goes to the community center, grocery store delivery. We all have that available now. His part-time job. He likes walking in the parks, and he can take the city bus, and the pharmacy provides him with pill packs. And then we looked at, lastly, what is Stuart eligible for? Well, Stuart's 45, so he's eligible for some supports through Health and Senior Services. He does have Medicaid. They can apply for food stamps and maybe housing vouchers. So we look at all of these things and ensure that all of these things are being used. If we only went to the eligibility supports, if we were only worried about him having Medicaid, he would have health insurance, but he wouldn't have the good life of being able to go to the city park and to have a job and to be active with his sister and her children and all of his friends. Here's one we did with a woman who just wanted to improve her health. We didn't have a star. We did it with sticky notes. And we said, what are some of the things that are your strengths? Who is there that could support you? So this person has a brother who's a fitness instructor. We ask your brother for some help if you want to improve your health. We looked at technology and we looked at things that were available in the community, like the parks and the community center. And last, we looked at what she might be eligible for through her health insurance or her job. All of these are conversations. It's not about the sticky. It's not about the star. It's about problem solving to achieve a goal or solve a problem. So again, Charting the Life course, we've said this over the 3-part series. It is about having conversations, about really sitting down and purposefully planning for what that goal might be. It is a different way of thinking because we don't just go to one area. We just don't look at one part of life. We encourage high expectations and hope to achieve those high expectations. We want to look at life experiences that move us in the direction of where we want to go and not move us where we don't want to be, and integrating multiple types of supports. And it's not just for professionals to use. Several of those examples were people without intellectual or developmental disabilities. It can be used for lots of different ages and stages. And it's not about the tools. It's not a program, and it's not designed for one specific age group. So here we go. We're back to the full portfolio. There's many out there. There's portfolios on employment. There's portfolios specific to supported decision-making. And UMKC is creating new ones all the time. So they can look like this. They can look like the really simple ones that I've shown you. And there are really specific ones. Here we've pulled it all together over the course of the 3 days, the 3 workshops of supporting that student in the context of their family, in their community, in daily life and employment, in their social and their spirituality, in healthy living, in their community living, and with advocacy. So you can get more information at lifecoursetools.org, or you can contact us at FACE. Our phone number is 314-989-8460. You can find us on the web, on the SSD webpage, on the department under FACE, or www.ssdmo.org/FACE, or email us at face@ssdmo.org. And we'd be happy to walk you through the tools or give you some more information.